sister used my wedding night to pull the ultimate betrayal. Now my fiance won't marry me unless I let her go. My sister Eliza destroyed my childhood, but I let her back into my life anyway. Now she's ruined my wedding, and I have to choose between revenge and my marriage. Growing up, Eliza was everything I wasn't: beautiful, confident, and utterly ruthless. While I battled anxiety so severe my hands shook constantly, she learned to weaponize our parents' sympathy. During my panic attacks, she'd slip into my room and take whatever she wanted. First it was toys, then allowance money, then she started telling boys I liked that I was too mentally unstable to date. Our parents always believed her tears over my trembling protests. By the time I became a pediatric nurse, I was desperate for any scrap of sisterly love. So when she asked for $2,000 for rent, claiming her boss had sexually harassed her and she'd quit, I handed it over immediately. The requests never stopped. Every month brought new emergencies: burst pipes, stolen cars, medical procedures. I gave her nearly $30,000 over 2 years, draining my savings while she posted vacation photos on Instagram. The final straw came at Dad's funeral. While I stood at the podium, choking through his favorite poem, Eliza wasn't even in the church. She'd used my grief speech as cover to race to his house with a locksmith. By the time I arrived, she'd already taken everything valuable and was attempting to forge my signature on life insurance documents worth $400,000. When I caught her red-handed, she just shrugged and said I was too anxious to handle money anyway. I called the police, changed my locks, and swore I'd never speak to her again. 3 years passed in blissful peace. My anxiety medication dropped from maximum dosage to almost nothing. I met Dominic, a software engineer who held my hand through therapy sessions and never once used my mental health against me. We got engaged on my 30th birthday. Then, on Christmas Eve, Eliza appeared at my door, mascara streaming down her face. She was in recovery for gambling addiction, she claimed, making amends as part of her 12-step program. She looked gaunt, desperate, nothing like the golden child who terrorized me. Against every instinct, I let her in. She seemed genuinely changed. She got a job at CVS, attended GA meetings religiously, and never asked for money. We had coffee, then weekly dinners. She even helped with wedding planning, using her old manipulation skills to negotiate vendor prices down. But I noticed things: how her eyes tracked my engagement ring, questions about Dominic's salary, sudden interest in our honeymoon plans. Still, when she suggested a sister's sleepover in my honeymoon suite the night before the wedding, I convinced myself I was being paranoid. We drank champagne, looked through childhood photos, and she apologized for everything. For the first time in decades, I felt like I had a sister. I woke at dawn to find her gone. My wedding dress, gone. My engagement ring, pulled right off my finger while I slept, gone. The safe with $30,000 in cash gifts from the rehearsal dinner, emptied. But the note she left was worse than any theft. Consider this my wedding gift. Your fiance and I leave for Paris tonight. He says I kiss better than you ever did. Thanks for introducing us. My scream brought hotel security running. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only race to Dominic's room 3 floors down. I pounded on his door until he answered, disheveled and confused. Through hyperventilating sobs, I showed him the note. His face went white, then red with fury. He swore he'd never touched her, that she'd tried to seduce him at the rehearsal dinner, but he'd rejected her. But how could I know what was true anymore? Eliza had stolen my ability to trust along with everything else. I can't believe you'd even question this, Dominic said, voice cracking. After everything we've been through, you think I'd betray you with her? He sat on the bed, head in his hands. Maybe we should postpone the wedding. Not because I don't love you, but because you need to decide what matters more: hunting down Eliza or trusting me. I'll support whatever you choose, but I won't marry someone who thinks I'm capable of this. The wedding was supposed to start in 6 hours, with over 200 guests. Eliza was probably halfway to the airport with my entire future in her suitcase. Part of me knew Eliza planted that note precisely to create this chaos. One final manipulation to destroy the happiness she could never steal. But knowing her game didn't make the choice any easier. I still don't know how I feel about it. If you want to see how it ended for us, it's in the link.